I'm acutely aware of those feelings that you go through. So it's this feeling of, I'm not going to get a job. It's this feeling of, in the pit of your stomach, that I am not good enough. It's the feeling in the pit of your stomach where you feel like you're just not worthy of anything. And why am I actually talking about this? Why do I harp on for you to just walk your walk and be slow and to do good things? It's because there is this desperation that is built within the mechanism that often makes us do things that are not great and makes us feel like we need to do things expediently or that there's no other alternative. So what's going to happen inevitably, because it happens in it sort of happens in me, happens to me, it happens to probably most people that are in a scientific endeavor, is that you'll have this desperation. You'll feel like you'll want to do something and you need to do something, and you feel like you're like there's no opportunities that are out there. And then you go and look at your data, or you look at something, and there is a very easy way to often find good results. And that good way, the easy way is not necessarily the way that you want to go. And some of us, us being the scientific community broadly, gets tempted to do things that are not necessarily good for science. And I'm not suggesting, and I'm very acutely aware of the messiness of data. I understand how that works. I'm also an engineer, so I'm very expedient with getting things done and getting results. But there are sometimes moments where you do things that you might not be proud about. And these things are not good for science. They're not good for anybody. And I want you to reflect on what I'm trying to get you to do and to think about, is to slow it down, to push away the outside world. I want you to not feel desperation, but to understand why you're doing the things that you're doing and be okay with yourself when things don't work out. Because vast majority of the time, 95% of the time, it's not going to work out for you. And so you have to determine, what do you do with this? You can do things to make it work out, right? And I'm not suggesting that you can use data filters and all those kind of things. I mean, that's how you do science. But what I'm suggesting is that some people will just make up data. They'll just kind of determine that this is the right way to do it, and that happens. Right? Like, there's all these kind of behaviors that you can sort of move yourself into, that you just have to set a fine line deep down inside of, I'm going to be good. And if this does not work out for me, if I don't get a job, if I don't get that opportunity I'm thinking about, that I can just walk away at any time and go find something else. And when you sort of remove that feeling in your head, and if I can persuade 5 people, if I can persuade one person to remove that feeling from your head and know that you're just damn awesome and you don't need to prove to anybody, and if this does not work out, that your best scenario is you just walk away, and that's a good thing, and you can have a wonderful job because you're talented, you're amazing human beings, you're remarkable in so many different ways. You can go just have an amazing job someplace where it's okay, right? Like, where you can actually have a good, amazing life. It is not I think the problem that we have in science is that we have this very, very tunneled vision on what it means to do good science and what it means to have a career. And this is the only outlet. We need to remove some of this stigma so that we can just go find something else, go do something else. If it doesn't work out, if we're not at the right moment in time, if this is just not the thing, let's just go have fun. I mean, and ultimately, This is the thing that, like, I don't understand. I don't understand the intensity, why do we have to be so uptight all the time about this stuff when ultimately we're just having fun? Ultimately, we're just perusing and looking at the world around us. And I know that you're not going to understand this. Many of you are not going to understand this, but ultimately that's what we're doing. We're just kind of having fun. And if we have this view that we're just having fun, that is not that serious, but serious, that you can, that you validate things, and that, the world is not going to come crashing down on you if things don't work out and you go find a job someplace else. That if you have all of this, if you're freed from all of these constraints and all of these norms, you can go do amazing things. And you can also stand up when the world tells you that you are a failure. And you can stand up and say, nope, I'm not a failure. I'm doing the right thing. I'm an awesome individual. And this is what I choose to do. And if that's outside of academia, if that is, getting a non-traditional job, if that is, even if you do all of this, and you're sort of set for the you're going up to the pinnacle, and then when you're 35 years old, you're like, I'm just gonna go and stay at home with my kids, and that's okay, right? I want you to realize that is completely okay. That's an amazing thing that you're actually doing that, and I want everybody to realize that this is your life. Enjoy your life. It's very short. It seems long sometimes, but it's very short. And if we do not do the things that are good for us, whatever that might be, and if we just take a step back, get a little bit of perspective, I think things will change. I think that's it. We just need some perspective. It's not as intense as you think it is. And you're not a failure. You are doing just fine. Just take those steps forward, one step at a time. And if you need to do something else, that is perfectly fine and amazing. And you are doing exactly what you should be doing. All right.